sun's out and shades are in. Get your home summer ready with custom window treatments from Blinds.com. Get a high-end look without the high-end price with the most popular outdoor shades, and transform your backyard into the perfect weekend oasis with light filtering shades that help block UV rays without obstructing your view. Plus, right now, we are offering our listeners from Blinds.com a 35% off discount on everything, making it a breeze to upgrade any room in your home, indoors or out. With over 25 million blinds sold and 35,000 five-star reviews, there's a reason why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window treatments in the world. Whether you do it yourself or have them handle the install from start to finish, Blinds.com makes ordering custom window treatments online easy, with free shipping and a 100% guaranteed perfect fit.
Sunshine and barbecues are in the forecast. Upgrade your backyard and window treatments with Blinds.com today and enjoy your new view all summer long. Go to the link in our show description to shop up to 35% off site-wide. That's the link in our show description to shop up to 35% off site-wide. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch bison's ass so hard that the next bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home, and who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 280. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
What's going on, man?
I hear that you have a little bit of grief with Nintendo right now. Is that true?
I got to tell you, I haven't had this much trouble finding an amiibo in like 4 years. Okay? This is ridiculous.
Is there a plastic shortage? Is that what's going on?
I don't know. It's a shortage in everything in the world right now, right?
Jeez.
We can't get consoles. You can't get phones, and now you can't get amiibo. You can't get little plastic figurines.
Oh my god!
You can't get a little plastic. I mean, this is from Cancun, but you can't get
similar style. Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't grab one of the many amiibos you had as an example, but that also works.
That's because they're too far behind me in the background. So I now work from home forever or indefinitely.
Oh boy!
I don't need to go back to the office, so I went to the city to go to the office, and I said I'll kill two birds with one stone. Right
there, you go.
I can clear out my desk because someone's going to take over my office, and I get to go to the Nintendo store and get The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD and the amiibo because
the waffling amiibo, yeah, waffling,
yeah. Where there's a shortage usually in the stores. Right, where it's all the pre-orders have been taken, have been sold out, and some of the stores like Best Buy or Target may not have a large stock. The Nintendo store is always fully stocked. They usually have like 100 to 200 amiibo of whatever the amiibo is, right? And my contact at the Nintendo store is like, yeah, man, we got like 20. It went
sold
like
out.
It went like that, like 5 minutes.
Wow, that's crazy. you would figure the company that produces them, right, their physical store would get a ton. But wow.
Well, he said they're going to get him back. He said
Mhm.
they're going to get him back. He just doesn't know when, but they've been promised a big shipment at some point.
Okay.
And now it sucks because usually, I would just go randomly walk into the Nintendo store on my lunch break or something, right?
Right, because
hey,
they would always have it. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's like 4 or 5 blocks away from my job, so now I don't have that luxury. Now I have to plan when I'm going to the city to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of annoyed. And then actually, I went into Target. Target, they didn't even have, well, at least the Target I went to, they didn't even have the game, let alone the amiibo.
Mm-hmm.
And I called a bunch of GameStops just to check, and they either never got it or got 2. So it's definitely in low supply right now. So if you really want this amiibo, you really want this special feature for Skyward Sword, you're gonna have to pay like $150 on eBay.
I'm actually looking at eBay prices right now, and they're like $75.
75? Okay.
Yeah,
right.
Which
triple the price. Not bad.
$59.99 I think is the lowest price I'm seeing in here. Buy it now for $59.99. Low price of $60.
You know what the lowest price you know what the highest price I'll pay for that?
Yeah.
You ready? $25.99.
Oh yeah, you want to pay the actual retail price for it?
I'll pay the retail price.
Yeah. So that's insane, man. And I'm gonna go ahead and say this: like, Nintendo should have produced more. I don't necessarily know if they tried to put a shortage out there to get people hype about it, and like, we're only gonna put a couple out there.
I don't think so. I don't think this is one of those they did a shortage on purpose. I mean, people's pre-orders are delayed, right? Like they can't even fulfill the orders that were pre-ordered months ago. Right.
So you can maybe chalk it up to a COVID thing. Manufacturing is tight right now, whatever. I'll give them that, right? The thing I can excuse is the feature locking, right? Now, I know I don't want to get into whether putting the feature behind the amiibo or whatever is, the right thing to do, or if it's a problem or whatnot. But I'm just saying it's made it more desirable to get the amiibo because it does something extra in the game, right? So I think scalpers may have been like, oh yeah, this is better than just the standard amiibo that doesn't do anything. We're going to go ahead and hustle and get all these and then sell them on eBay for double the price or triple the price.
So I will say this. I'm a little worried about the Switch OLED now.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to know... it's actually no.
Were you not worried before?
No. It's a comment. I wasn't. I wasn't worried.
Really?
Because I figured the Nintendo store would have 1 million of them.
Well.
So look. Here's why I'm worried. I'm worried about the Switch OLED. And the same day, Metroid Dread, right? The special edition,
and the amiibos and everything else. Yeah.
And the amiibos. I may have to take that day off.
There you go. Dedicated.
I may have
Dan, the dedicated gamer over here.
I may have to go wait in line at the Nintendo store for it.
Oh, wow. Wow, this is a monumentous occasion. You heard it here, folks. Dan, who never likes to wait in line or get tickets ahead of time or do things in preparation, is saying I may have to wait in line. Wow. Okay.
Feel free to bring me pizza or beer.
Pizza and beer. I'll come by.
As I wait in line.
I'll come by. I got you.
You gotta take the day off too. Come on. You gotta take the day off too.
You know what? I may just do that.
We may have to go wait in line. Because again, whenever there is, the Switch Lite, right? The Switch Lite, the Zelda remake.
Yeah.
The Game Boy, right?
Yep.
The Game Boy Advance. Oh, the Game Boy Advance. The Game Boy Color.
Game Boy period, yeah.
I went to the Nintendo store, right? Fully stocked.
Sure.
They had they had 1 million Switches.
Sure.
Right? They had 200 Switch Lights.
They were prepared. Yeah, they were prepared with the Switch Lite.
I didn't even know they had a special edition for that Zelda game. Didn't even know there was a special edition. They had 1 million of them. behind the counter, and the amiibo. It was $1 million. And I didn't go early. I went on my lunch break and got in and got everything I needed. Right. So now I'm a little worried. I may have to go super early in the morning, go wait in line, have breakfast. Don't drink anything. Don't want to go for a bathroom break.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Can you hold my place in line? And then boom, it's gone.
Well, no, they usually do. They're usually good with that.
Mm-hmm.
They're usually good with that. You can go to the bathroom, hold your place. Obviously, you have to. You guys do it for each other, right? So,
oh yeah,
the guy behind you is going to do it.
That's the proper etiquette, I think.
Yeah. So, feel free to bring me food. Feel free to film me. Give Ready G the credit. I'm okay. I may have to do it. I mean, I want an OLED day one. Sorry. So
yeah, man.
So Dave, let's get this show on the road. All right, we have an awesome show this week. We're going to talk about the new Switch Pro that was announced. Oh, sorry. I mean, Steam Pro, as I like to call it. We'll get into the actual name and the specs and when it may be coming out. But let's begin the show with a little Xbox on PlayStation news. Right, like Deathloop, we know is an Xbox game. That's from an Xbox studio, I should say. That's coming out on PlayStation 5. We knew it was exclusive, but we didn't know for how long. It is official. We now know it is the year exclusivity. It's coming out in September, and it will be on Games Pass because that's what it's going. That's where it's going.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a first party game at this point, right?
Yeah. It will be on Games Pass a year from this September, so in September of 2022.
Nice. I'll actually be able to play it then, because remember, I still don't have a PS5, so
that's true. And then
still incredibly tough to get. Don't know why.
And then let's stick in that same vein. Ghostwire Tokyo, also a Xbox, first party studio. So weird. Xbox first party studio making exclusive games for the PlayStation because they don't want to rush the game. Okay, they don't want to do crunch. This game has now been delayed out of 2021 indefinitely. We don't know when it's coming out. I mean, speculation is it'll be out hopefully at some point next year.
Right. So I got to be honest. Well, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I got to give the studio credit, right? Because they could have easily said, you know what, we're gonna put this game out at some point this year. Who cares, right? And I'm going to say it also has a year exclusivity, right? From the date it launches, because it's always from the date it launches, it will have an exclusivity, right? So if it's like Deathloop and it has a year exclusivity, hey, let's put it out in October, November. If it's broken, who cares? We'll fix it in time for when it comes out on Games Pass. But they didn't take that approach. They're delaying it indefinitely. Hopefully it comes out in the spring, and then it will be out in Games Pass in the spring of 2023.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the right move. They said the right words. They said crunch and no, we're not going to do it. All right. And that's fantastic because, I mean, you work on something and you're excited about it and you want to get it out. And, there's times when it's more beneficial to have your game out, like Christmas, right? Christmas 1. And sometimes you can't hit that mark. Sometimes even with the crunch or the whatever, you can't do it. And I'm glad that Tango Gameworks, they're the ones that did The Evil Within, that series. They said, hey, we're not going to be able to do this. They bubbled it up, and Microsoft was like, okay, you're because it had to have gone up the chain, right? To Bethesda, to ZeniMax, and then to Microsoft, and Microsoft probably made the executive decision. We don't want you guys to be stressed out. We're going to go ahead and delay this game. So, fantastic. Now, I got to say on top of that, though, I totally forgot this game was coming out.
I think
that's another thing.
We haven't heard anything since E3 or the State of Play
2019
E3 time, and
2019
like last year, right? I think it was last year.
Well, I mean, it was announced 2019, and then I think we got some more info on it last year. A little bit more of a teaser.
think that is totally wrong. I think we heard about it last year in 2020.
The article says it was announced in 2019, so from an E3 press event. So
yeah,
I don't think we knew much about it more than, hey, you know, Evil Within developers doing a new game, and here's maybe like a JPEG of a title screen just to get you excited. But I think last year, you're right, we got the big dump of here's what the game is going to be about. You should get hyped for it, and then
this is what the game is. This is what
right, exactly.
I don't think the name was released. I think it was just we're working on something in 2019, but in 2020 it was actually announced. This is the game, the full, you know, sort of coming out on PlayStation. It was like, oh, okay, sort of like a horror game in Tokyo, which makes total sense for it to come out on the PlayStation, right? Like it's a Tokyo horror game that I probably was never going to play anyway. You're not into that kind of stuff. Yes,
even if it may be the greatest game ever, the theming behind it, no.
Listen, I legit tried to put as much time into the Evil Within 1, the first one. And I couldn't get past the first 15 minutes. I was like, nope, not happening. Not doing this. Nope.
Evil Within is a tough game. I mean, I will go ahead and give you that.
In the first 5 minutes, you're hanging upside down, okay, and the guy with a chainsaw is coming after you, okay? For 5 minutes.
Man, that's my worst nightmare. You're in a prone state, and somebody's got a chainsaw. And I made it through, Dan. I made it through. I hate chainsaws. I beat Resident Evil 7. Because you said in an offhanded comment, you should play the whole thing in VR. And I said, you know what? Done. And I did it. So there you go. Yeah, I won't back down from a challenge.
And guess what? I jumped right in to Final Fantasy 15. You didn't think I would ever buy or play a Final Fantasy game other than 7?
I'm aware. And you put it out like an hour into it, and then you dropped it.
I put 4 hours into it.
Okay, 4 hours into it.
Okay.
That's like 1% of the game.
Well, you know what? I'm part of the 1%. Okay?
Oh, my God.
I did it.
Oh, boy.
I got into Final Fantasy.
Oh, boy. So. Well, you like 7, the remake, at least, so.
I do. I like the original. I like the original. I like the original, too. So. Dave, as we always try to start the show, but epically fail, what have you been playing?
Well, you'll be happy to note I am back on that Doom Eternal train. All right, I think I mentioned it last week.
You still haven't beaten that yet?
Oh, says the man who got like an hour into it and said nope. That shit is tough. I'm at the end though. I'm at the end. Second to last boss. There's the Maker Queen or whatever. I don't think I'm really necessarily spoiling anything because it's Doom. I mean, who cares about the story? But yeah,
how do you know you're almost at the end?
Oh, I looked it up. I looked it up because I wanted to see where I was because it feels really long because I keep getting every time I fight a Marauder, it's a stopping point because the Marauders are terrible and they're really hard to kill. So any fight that has a Marauder, I roll my eyes. I say, all right, this is going to be another week, 2 weeks, month, year, whatever it is. And then I always come back and I beat the Marauder and I'm like, all right, so now I'm up to this boss who's terribly tough. But as soon as I beat this boss, then it's a little bit further. I fight the Icon of Sin, which, if you remember from the original Doom 2, was the head of John Romero at the end of the day, right? The thing opens up and there's the head of John Romero and you shoot him with the shotgun, game over. This is a little bit different. This is an actual big beast with a giant demon head. So I saw that and I was like, okay, so I'm almost done. I beat this second to last boss, get through that, fight the Icon of Sin, roll credits, we're good. So I'm getting there. Okay. I'm getting there, Dan. And then I got to do the Old Gods Part 1 and the Old Gods Part 2 because I have DLC. So
Dave, you don't have to do it, right? Like, technically, you don't have to do it.
Oh, you got it, Dan. It's Doom Eternal. It's fantastic.
You could just move on to something else.
It was one of my Game of the Year nominees. I want more Doom. And if there's more Doom out there, I will play more Doom. 100%. Okay.
Okay, gotcha. I've actually, speaking of Final Fantasy VII, I popped in Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate, and I redeemed a stupid code because they didn't put it on the disc. It should be on the disc.
Well, we knew that ahead of time.
Gamer
I
brief.
mean,
Gamer
we knew
brief.
that.
It should be on the disc. But I redeemed the code, and I did it last night, so I'm not too far into it. But the Yuffie DLC, playing as her, it feels good to be back in this world.
Right.
Playing an action RPG, right? So I don't really have any thoughts on it just yet. I only played maybe 15 minutes of it last night because I had to reinstall Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, on the PS5, right? Yeah.
On the PS5, I had deleted it, so I had to reinstall it, and then I had to download and install the Yuffie DLC.
Right. Right. And how long did that take? All said and done.
I want to say I didn't do it like straight because I was doing other things.
Sure.
I was also while I was doing one thing, I didn't realize it already finished downloading the whole game. I was playing The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD on the Switch.
There you go. There you go.
Things at once.
Okay.
I get it. Listen, I get what people are saying. Going back to sort of the old controls, kind of like you have to hold down the L button and then move the right stick to look. So you can't just look with the right stick.
Really?
So you have to hold down the L button. That indicates that you want to look around. And
what is it?
At first,
okay.
What does it do if you don't hold down the
exactly?
It does nothing. It does absolutely nothing.
Come on, Nintendo. What are you doing? Why?
I said the same thing, but
you have two thumbsticks. You have a right stick and a left stick. Left is to move. Right is to look.
Instead of arguing with my Switch, I just did it, and you know what? You get used to it after a while. Okay, so it just becomes second nature. Hold it down and look around.
I mean, yeah, I get that, but man, that'd make me angry.
Well, I was like, why is this not moving? I don't know why I can't look around. This is so weird. And then you start talking to people because you have to talk to people in the beginning, and then it's like, oh yeah, hey, you have to hold down the L and then you can look around. And I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense.
Wait, so what does the right stick do then?
No, the right stick does nothing unless you hold down the L button.
So how do you move the camera around while you're fighting? I'm confused.
I don't know. I haven't fought anything yet.
You can't.
I'm still just in the village. I'm still. I'm talking to Zelda. Got to go through my training in the sky. So I don't know yet. I haven't got that far.
I would check the settings. I highly suspect. No,
nope.
You sure?
Everybody. I heard RGT85. Talk about how people hate it, but it's okay. You get used to it for a while.
Wow.
Listen, you move with the left. The right does nothing. The camera is wherever you left it. And then you hold down the L button, and you can move the camera around. It's ass backwards, okay. I know it's ass backwards, but whatever.
Yeah, I think Nintendo dropped the ball on that. Look, I'm going to get the game anyway. I haven't got it yet. I'm not in protest of this game by any means. But, wow, I'm going to have to see how it is for myself, because that just, it hurts my brain to think. Because when you have a fully capable controller with dual analog sticks, which has been the norm since the PlayStation 1 era, why not use the dual analog sticks? It ain't no thing. It ain't no thing.
I don't know why they did it that way.
Christ.
I didn't play the original, and I know it was mostly motion controls, so maybe that has something to do with it. All right.
Well, so you can use, if I remember correctly, you can use the Wii remote, right? The nunchuck has the one analog stick, and then the Wii remote you can kind of move around like it's a pointer device. So I was assuming that would be the way to look around, but maybe not. Maybe you do have to hold L and use the left stick to kind of move around. I don't know. I'll have to see.
So I'm really early into the game. I haven't gotten to the combat yet. I'm just trying to talk to as many people as I can. I'm learning how to fly the
loft wing.
The loft wing. Talking to Zelda, catching cats on the roof.
I'm there you go.
Game. So I'm really early in the game. Haven't really done anything yet because I've been so addicted, and never thought I would be, to Mario Run.
Oh boy, this guy loves his microtransactions.
There are no microtransactions in Mario Run.
Is that right? Oh, that's right. That's right.
Buy the game flat out.
That's right. I forgot about that.
10
That
bucks,
is
20 bucks.
fantastic. Yep.
Yes, I'm addicted to the remix,
Mhm.
where I've gotten as many coins as I could in the regular game. Right, like there are certain gray coins I just can't get, and I've given up. Or not gray coin. I think they're gray or purple, whatever. The
Right.
hardest one, the last. Like, you know, they had like the regular coin. Yeah, I think it's purple coin.
I think you're right.
The gray coins.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten as many as I could. I've given up on 100% in that. I've completely given up. They have a section where it's remix, where they just remix all the levels, right? And they give you a ticket, and every ticket you can play you get to play a level which has like 10 stages in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been so addicted to that, and I just keep getting. I have in my hub world. You make the hub world. I got 2 question mark box, which you keep hitting like every couple of hours,
Mm-hmm.
and it keeps giving you tickets and tickets and tickets, or coins. You get coins or tickets because they really want you to play the remix, and it works because whenever I find like a downtime or there's a commercial on, I just pick up my phone and I do a quick couple of stages of Mario Run, and I'm done.
Nice.
So
nice.
I listen. I know they can't profit off of it, or they haven't profited off of it like they have done most games, but it's the best mobile game that they got. I'm sorry. That's in my opinion, best mobile game.
Yeah. All right.
On that note, let's take a break. When we come back, we're getting into the top gaming news of last week.
Hey, this is Matt Adler, freelance journalist for IGN, and you're listening to Rated G for Gamers podcast.
And we're back. Let's get into the top gaming news of last week. Let's start with, we have new hardware that just was announced. It's the Switch Pro that everybody wanted but didn't get from Nintendo.
Oh my god.
But we're getting this from Steam as well. We're getting this from Valve, I should say, as we have a new handheld that's now entered to be, I want to say, maybe a Switch killer, possibly. All right. It's called the Steam Deck.
Okay.
It's Valve's handheld PC system.
All right. So I want to say one thing before we get into this, because there's a lot to get into here. Why are you calling it the Steam Deck? Because you know that there is a product called the Stream Deck, I believe from Elgato, which is made for streamers, which is a little side caddy thing to your keyboard that has hotkeys for all your damn streaming stuff. Why would you call it the Steam Deck when you have the Stream Deck? And it's super popular. Everybody knows what it is, and everyone's complaining. Why would you do that?
So basically, you're saying they should have called it the Steam Pro.
I mean, I don't know. Call it like the Steam Boy.
The Steam Boy. That's a stupid name.
Well, so is the Steam Deck. So is the Steam Deck. Call it something different.
It's just as dumb as the Steam Deck.
Well, I mean, there would be no confusion. That's the thing. That's the thing you got to get around, right? Why would they do that?
I say
why
Steam
would they do
Pro.
that?
I say Steam Pro.
Okay, call it whatever. Just don't call it the same thing as another product that's super popular that's already out on the market that everybody already knows, because they're going to get confused. It's terrible.
All right.
So they already got one strike against them already.
What this is PC on the go, right? Like this is PC gaming on the go, essentially, right? I mean, it looks like a longer Switch that has sort of like a trackpad for touch integration.
Yeah,
not even on the screen itself, but just on the side, just like the Steam controller had it didn't have actual thumbsticks. It had like the touch pads.
It did have the touch pads on there, which was a terrible idea. It really didn't do that well. But this is augmented, so they have the analog sticks and they have the trackpads, which is cool. So you can kind of use it like a mouse if you want. I believe it's optional. I think, say, take a game like Doom Eternal, you could use either or, which I think is kind of cool.
Let me ask you a question: Is Halo on Steam? right? Like, can I potentially play Halo on the go? Right?
There are Halo games that you can play via. I mean, you can play Halo games. Period. There is the Master Chief Collection, which is on PC. I don't think it's in the Steam store because it's part of the Microsoft's Games Pass, and I think you can just also buy it a la carte if you wanted to and play it. And I believe all of the Halo games are supported now, if not most of them, right? Because it used to be Halo 1 and 2. Those were direct Steam or direct PC ports with some new additions and whatnot. And then when the Master Chief Collection came out, then they added that in there. Now, if you're asking, can you play this on the Steam Deck? Well, the answer is yes, because it doesn't have to be everything from the Steam store. Like, you can install Windows on it.
Okay, so it's legit a portable PC.
It's 100% a portable PC. Yeah, it runs on a Linux-based OS to start, and it's got a Steam UI, which you can use to download games or load up your account. And you've got cloud saves, so you can just play the game, upload your save, go to your home PC, pull down the saves, and continue playing, which is super awesome. So it's got all the bells and whistles, all the niceties that you would get with Steam, which is super cool. It's flexible, so you can flash the hard drive if you wanted to put your own OS on there. Super cool. I guess we should probably get into some of the specs, right? It's got a 7-inch touchscreen, which I think is comparable to the new Switch OLED size-wise. It's got an 8 RDNA 2 compute units, right, for the GPU, 16 gigs of RAM, and it comes in 4 configurations for storage: 64 gig, 256, and a 512. They're all SSD, I believe, and starts at $399, goes all the way up to $649. So out of the gate, this is a higher money proposition than the Switch OLED by $50 for the base unit. So I think that's worth saying. Now, it is almost double the power of a Nintendo Switch. That's also worth saying. It's a beefy boy.
People were saying that this is legit PS4, a PS4 portable, right? Like it's as powerful as the PS4.
Sure. I mean, they say that, according to all the kind of early reviews and from Valve itself, they say that you can run all current gen video games on like medium to high settings, and you should have a good time. So that says a lot. We don't necessarily know because we don't have them in our hands yet, but
Can I run Cyberpunk on this? That's all I want to know. Can Cyberpunk be played on the go?
I don't know why you'd want to, but if Dan Robinson wants to go down that road, I'm gonna put a maybe. Hard to say.
Okay.
They did mention Doom Eternal though, and they said Doom Eternal would work. So I think that's the game I'd want to play on the go over Cyberpunk.
What? Doom Eternal worked perfectly on the PS4, not Cyberpunk.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
Doom Eternal was good.
That's my measuring stick. Can I play Cyberpunk? Can that work on this?
Mm-hmm. And I guess also, well, yeah, I guess also too, it's fair to mention that they say about 8 hours on light usage, and I think that's probably going to equate to about 2, maybe 2.5 hours of like actual gameplay, like a Cyberpunk or a Doom Eternal session, right? You may get a couple hours
normal.
out of it.
I mean, that's a typical Switch, right?
Yeah, I think so. If you were loading up Zelda, the Breath of the Wild, you'd probably get about 2.5 hours, maybe 3 if you're lucky. But yeah.
Now, who is this for? Is this for you? Is this something that you're interested in? I mean, they said it's maybe released in December, so late this year, which I think is probably going to get delayed. Right, out into early, maybe 2022. But
right.
Who is this for?
Well, it is and it isn't for me. Am I interested in it? 100%. Is it something I would buy if I had enough extra money to throw around? Sure. Am I going to get it? no. And I'll tell you why. All right. So, and I was talking about this with a coworker of mine who mentioned, hey, is anybody going to get this new thing? And we had a bit of a conversation. I was like, I already own a Switch. I own 2 Switches. You own 3, right?
About to own 4.
Right. Most of the games that the Steam Deck, I hate that name, that the Steam Deck will play.
Just call it the Steam Pro. I'm calling it the Steam Pro.
There you go.
The Steam Deck.
Most of the games that the Steam Pro will play, I can play on my Switch. That includes Doom Eternal. That includes Wolfenstein. It already has all those games. It has all the good indie games and more. And it'll play battle royale games like Fortnite. And it'll play the soccer car game Rocket League, right? So it plays a lot. Plus you get Nintendo exclusives on top of that in a portable system that is very competent. Obviously, it's not as powerful as this. So I don't know. I don't see a super huge value in it right off the gate. Now it is kind of cool that I can play my Steam library at home or on the go, pick up the save and keep going. Like that's like kind of cool. And it does have like the touch pads, which I'm curious to try out. It's got a nice big screen. But yeah, probably not going to get it. Now, I would think this would be a Dan Robinson get because you don't have a PC right now, right? You're a Mac guy and you've been wanting to break into PC gaming and you're like, well, how do I do it and not break the bank? And I would say this is a good proposition. This is a way to do it and not break the bank.
I have no interest in this at all whatsoever.
See, I'm surprised. Why?
I have no interest for some of the same reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting the Switch OLED. Off the back, I'm spending $350 already on another handheld console. I can't imagine 2 months later coming out of pocket $400 minimum, right? An extra $400, $400 to $700.
Mm-hmm. Can't
imagine doing that 2 months later after spending $350 on a Switch OLED.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. But you're buying the same exact Switch again, just with an OLED screen. The value you're getting out of the Nintendo system is better visuals. Well, better color, I should say. Better blacks, better whites.
Yes. And all the games that I would play on Steam, I would play on the Switch. And this Steam Pro can't even play Cyberpunk that we know of.
Well, we don't know that.
Okay?
We don't necessarily
that we know of, to be fair. If you say you can play Cyberpunk, I would be intrigued. Okay? I'll be intrigued.
All right. I mean, I don't know why that's the benchmark. That's a very odd benchmark right there. I mean, the fact that it can play Doom Eternal on medium to high settings, according to them at least, kind of says a lot.
Well, here's another reason. I mean, what happened to all of those home console Steam boxes, right? Like, see how long that lasted and they supported it, right? It didn't last very long. They didn't support it very long. there were other issues with that. I don't necessarily think it was a power issue in that case. I don't think it was like for lack of power and whatever else. Well, that may have been part of it. There was a ton of different models that all these different companies were putting out for sure. Well, but here, look how long they supported that. If this becomes obsolete within 2 years, then what are they going to do? How are they going to support this? You can't upgrade it by any means, right? This is a portable system that's not upgraded.
Well, it's the same as the Nintendo Switch, right? Like, that's a system you can't upgrade. It is what it is.
True. But they're going to make games that will be specifically for the Switch because Nintendo is quality control. It's they're going to be, I guarantee you in 2 years from now, they're going to be games that you're not going to be able to play on the Steam Pro because it's not going to be powerful enough because it's going to be obsolete 2 years later. 2 to 3 years later.
I mean, look, you're 100% right, but how much do you want to get out of it, right? If you're saying, hey, I want this to last a console generation, right, 4 to 5 years, I want to be able to play 70 to 75% of the stuff out there. I think that's fair. Maybe even 80% of the games out there.
The Switch is going to be, they said 10 years long, and we're already at year 5, right? So we got hopefully another 5 years of games that are guaranteed to work on the Switch. 4 years from now, when Red Dead 3 is out, I know, or Grand Theft Auto 6, right, comes out, that's probably not going to be playable on the Steam Pro.
Well, here's what you could do to mitigate that, which is what every console game maker does, even on the PS5 and even on the Series X, is you build it for your platform, right? If you consider the Steam Deck to be like the Switch, where it's a finite, it's a known quantity of power, RAM, disk storage, whatever, battery life, you can build settings into your games that are optimized for the Steam Deck. And there you go, right? Like, they're legit PC games, so you get fine granularity over the control. So even if the developer doesn't make like an optimized setting, you could get in there, mess with all the Cyberpunk sliders, and turn it into a playable game, right? And, it'll be an experience like you're playing it on your Switch, or like you're playing it on a, PS4 Pro or an Xbox One X or whatever. You won't get the fanciest visuals like you would on a high-powered PC rig, but that's not the point. The point is
that's the
portability and playability.
That's the difference between a PC guy and a Mac guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, a PC person and a Mac person. A Mac person like me just wants to use it. I want to turn it on. I want it to work. Period. Point blank. I don't want to go into the PC. I don't want to have to change anything. I don't have to configure anything. I don't have to. Why is this not working? Because I have the wrong configurations. Because I forgot to click a switch in one setting, some random setting. Because you have all the settings to your disposal that you can play with.
Yeah, they give you full control. They give you full control,
and you forget to click this one this one setting that's in somewhere minute that you didn't even think to click on. Where when you're the Mac guy, when you're a console gamer, it just works. And that's tell me again how many games you can play on Mac. Tell me how many games again you can play on Mac. Is it 0? I can play Grand Theft Auto.
What Grand Theft Auto 4?
I have Grand Theft Auto on my Mac. I got it for free. They were giving it away for free a couple of years ago.
I mean, look. I get what you're saying, and the way to mitigate that is for developers to put in a Steam Deck preset. Now you just go in and turn on Optimize for Steam Deck, and they'll just auto configure the stuff for you, and then you're good to go. I don't know if game developers are actually going to go the distance and do that. If it becomes a viable product, that would be a good idea. So, because you just kind of have to have the system there, test it out with the different settings. Okay, here's what we found that works best for this system, and it'll get you the best visual quality without dipping below 30 frames a second or whatever it is. Okay. That's a possibility. That's the thing that could happen.
I'm going to take it from a different approach. I think Nintendo is going to keep a close eye on the Steam Deck or the Steam Pro. Sorry, not calling it Steam Deck. It's the Steam Pro.
I'm with you.
And I'll tell you why. Because I think Nintendo was never putting out a Switch Pro this early. I think they were always going to do maybe the OLED screen, right, to keep the Switch sales up. And then when the Switch sales start to decline in a couple of years because the technology is a little bit older, then they would come with the Switch Pro, essentially, right? This is the more powerful Switch. It can play, PS4 Pro and Xbox, One X style games on the go. That was going to be the big, here's gaming on the go. But now Valve beat them to the punch with something that's essentially double the power of the Switch, right?
It kills it in power, yeah.
Yeah, at these price points. So now I think Nintendo, they can't just come with, this is a Switch Pro, double the power in 4 years. Like I think they were thinking about, right? In the year 2025 or something, come out with the Switch Pro. It has to be much more than that. I think it has to be more than that. If the Steam Pro is even semi-successful. they have to come to the table with something much more. It has to be 4K gaming on the go, essentially, for that to work.
Right.
So I think
And
Nintendo's keeping a lookout on this.
to bring this into I guess to be fair to the whole conversation too, Valve is not the first one doing a portable. I think Acer has one out. Maybe Asus has one out too. So they have other models that are out there. I don't necessarily know if they're as sleek. I think they may even be a little bit more expensive. Could be a little bit thicker around the edges. They obviously don't have the little touch pads on there, but they have options you can go ahead and put out there. Valve is a huge company. Valve is going to put all their effort into this and try and support it for as long as possible. So, it makes it a little bit more of a threat, I guess, in this case. So I think you're right. I think Nintendo's looking at this and going, wow, this could really bite into our sales, because now we have like a real competition in the portable space, right? And it's technically a hybrid console because you can dock it, right? And then you can play it up on the big screen, so it acts like a home console, right? It fits in that same niche that the Nintendo Switch does at double the power for technically only $50 more for the base unit. It's really, as far as I understand, it's a storage configuration issue, so... I don't know if they have an SD card slot. I would have to assume that there's an SD card slot on there. So if you wanted to...
100% there has to be a card slot. 100%.
Right.
Micro SD.
So if you want to get the base unit, it's only $50 more than the Switch OLED to get double the power in a portable system. That's not bad.
I found it interesting. I always find it interesting when like the companies like congratulate each other. Right, like when PlayStation, when the PS5 launched, Xbox congratulated PlayStation.
Yeah.
And then the Xbox launched and PlayStation congratulated Xbox. So Epic tweeted out like a congratulations to Valve on their announcement.
Wow,
so
look at them trying to be civil. That's interesting.
I wonder if we're gonna get like an Epic deck.
Epic deck. You know what? If the Steam thing is successful, because I don't see the Epic Game Store going away anytime soon, I bet they would try and do something similar.
You know who else may try to do something similar to that? Netflix. They have the money. They have the money and they have the user base. Like they could do something. And
they have a huge user base.
We talked about it during E3, right? They had an E3 presentation.
Yep.
Because they want to get into games. They're really trying to get into the gaming space. And it looks like they may be getting into the gaming space the best way they know how. And that is partnering with one of the big three manufacturers. Looks like they're partnering with Sony. They tweeted out sort of a cryptic but not so cryptic tweet regarding a future announcement. And they had Ghost of Tsushima just flat out in the tweet, in the picture. Right? So could they be partnering with Sony to maybe do something like a streaming service? Or maybe you can get PlayStation Now on Netflix, and Netflix will have their own games that will be a part of PlayStation Now. I mean, I don't know, but this is kind of like, this is big news, right? Because we know Walmart wanted to get in the streaming service. We know Verizon's working on something. Amazon has Luna, which you want to talk about things you forgot about. I forgot about Luna, right? And Netflix wants to make a splash, but they don't want to maybe end up like Luna, where nobody even knows or cares, right? And the biggest way you can make a splash is going with Xbox and Games Pass, which I thought would have been the logical route of going that way, but looks like they may be partnering with Sony. What do you think about that?
I don't know, man. If Google can't do it and Amazon can't do it, what makes Netflix think that they can do it?
In Netflix, I trust, my friend. In Netflix, I trust.
I mean, look, they have money. That's not in question. They have the funds and the means.
When Netflix, and we talked about this in the show again. I feel like I've got to repeat myself. When Netflix said they're going to make their own content, people said, "Oh, come on, that's just dumb. Why are you going to do that? Like, come on, you can't do that." Like Yahoo can't even make their own content, and they have money. Like, how are you going to?
Well, they didn't have anything good.
Successful. Yeah.
The only good thing that Yahoo had was that dating spoof show, where everyone was in the same house together, and they were just a bunch of comedians who were on a dating show.
Yeah.
Which actually got bought up, I think, by Netflix or somebody else, or Hulu maybe.
But you know what Netflix did? They did it the smart way. They hire people in the industry, and they picked up shows and movies that were probably going to be picked up by the major networks, and they paid a boatload more money to get those IPs, right? Get those shows, get those movies on their platform.
Yeah,
they're doing the same thing here. They're paying a boatload of money, or going to pay a boatload of money to get people in the industry, in the gaming industry, to take them seriously and produce content, produce games, and now they're partnering with one of the major manufacturers to produce a service.
So
that makes sense.
So basically what you're telling me is they stole from Google's playbook, because Google did that. Google got the top people in the industry, and it failed. Now,
I tell you, but I gotta stop you there. I said, when Stadia was first announced, I said this would be better if they would have hired industry people to make their games and have like a first party presence where they're making their own games. And
they had the studio
and then use the technology and partner with Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox to be where you could play the game on your desktop, on your browser, right? You could play Mario, Halo, Uncharted on your desktop and your browser, and then pick up where you left off when you go home and play it on your console. I said that's the route they should go and probably be more successful in, right? And then you can make your own games, and eventually you could put out maybe your own system.
Right, but Microsoft's not going to be down with that, because they already have Games Pass and xCloud. Sony's not going to be down with that, because obviously they've been trying with their PlayStation Now.
I think Sony.
And Nintendo, Nintendo's not going to get in on there.
I think Sony would get.
Maybe you would have gotten Sony on there, but
yeah, look,
that's a big if. That's a big if. You're relying on
Sony's getting with Netflix. I think they would have got with Google if it was presented that way.
Fair enough. I mean, it seems like they're willing to play ball, but I mean, again, it feels like the same thing that everybody else is trying to do. All right, so I know they have money. Their stock is through the roof. Trust me, I've been keeping up on it. So the idea is good, but it always fails in the execution, right? Like I thought when they were making their own shows, great idea, right? Because instead of licensing out, which can be very expensive, right? They saw that other people were building their streaming networks, and they're like,
and they have to cycle through. Right. License is over. It's out of your catalog, but when you make your own, it's always going to be there.
Exactly. So you can say Stranger Things is only on Netflix, and it's a value add to the system. Doesn't cost you any more per month for the service. It's the same thing they're trying to do here. It's not going to cost you, according to Netflix, it won't cost you more for the service, which is good. So you can technically get into the gaming, I think, at whatever price point you're paying for it now. You know, if it's a $10, $12 a month for the basic service, I believe that you'll get Netflix gaming, all right? And I guess the other thing beyond the streaming is the actual original games that they want to put out. I think the idea is that they'll have an internal game studio that'll make games that you can play on the Netflix streaming platform or whatever it is. And maybe even on Sony's console, right? If they're teaming up with them.
So this makes so much sense for Sony, because we talked about it a few months ago where they did some tests in the UK about putting their like movies and music, because Sony is an entertainment company, and putting in movies and music and TV shows as part of PlayStation Plus, right? To give PlayStation Plus an added value, right? So this could be sort of a partnership where maybe some of those, if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you can link that to like a Netflix thing, and you got the movies. And same thing with Netflix. They're getting all the Sony movies and Sony TV shows put into the service, right? It could be a partnership that way.
Sure.
I could see that working. Remember,
sure.
Again, Sony's an entertainment company. Sony made a deal with Microsoft about partnering up and sharing streaming technology that the Xbox division and the PlayStation division did not know about at all. At all, if you remember. So this could be a play where Sony, the entertainment part, is making a deal with Netflix, the gaming part. And the PlayStation division may have nothing to do with it, and they may have no idea this is going on, right? So.
Yeah. So I guess it's also fair to know. I mean, we're heavily speculating. This is all rumor, right? We know that
all rumor and innuendo.
Well, innuendo, I suppose, but definitely rumor. The partnership is a big rumor. We know that Netflix wants to get into gaming and all that. It's a rumor that PlayStation is going to be the partner to put that up with, to kind of come together and make that happen.
A rumor that they started with that picture. So,
I mean, sure. So the one thing I want to know is that, like, how are you going to hook up your controller? Because you need some sort of controller to do that, right? Not all TVs are capable of, like, Bluetooth connected controllers and this and that. Is Netflix going to put out a custom controller that here is for the Netflix gaming service, here's the controller that you would use? Or can you just pick up a PlayStation controller or an Xbox controller, hook it up via Bluetooth, and then there you go. I would assume there would have to be an additional dongle.
DualSense will work. I think it'll just be a DualSense thing. Don't.
Yeah, but how though? Like you would need a separate box. You would need to sell a box for $50-$60 that hooks up to the USB port on your TV, and then you get functionality. You get some sort of functionality that way to hook it up.
Just wirelessly connected, and if your TV doesn't support that, then you won't be able to play. Netflix.
Yeah, which is 100% why I'm saying you make a compatibility box that'll work with all TVs, right? All current TVs at least, and then you don't have to worry if it'll hook up via Bluetooth. Because the box will have it.
I say don't even do that right now. Just worry about just have the DualSense or DualShock controller hook up wirelessly.
Well,
see how successful it goes, and then you can worry about like old.
That's if the Sony partnership comes through, right? Like,
yes, correct.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking like the Sony partnership is the thing since they tweeted it out, right? So I'm not going off for any other premise other than they're working with Sony.
Okay. So here's
you have the DualSense. Or
here's the big question. All right. For us who already have all this stuff, for anybody who already has a console and this and that, are they going to bother? Is anybody going to bother? Because I think the Venn diagram of people that own, let's say it is the PlayStation thing, the Venn diagram of people that own a PlayStation console, 4 or 5, and also have a Netflix subscription are probably pretty tight, all right? Do you think anybody who owns the console already is going to bother playing games on the Netflix streaming part of it?
Yes.
Really?
For you, yes.
Why?
Let's say, easy. That's an easy question. Let's Dave, when you get a spouse and your spouse doesn't live with you, okay, when you get the significant other, when you get the love of your life.
Wait. So you're saying I'm married, but we don't live together? This is a weird premise off the bat.
Well, it's funny if you watch a couple of House Hunter shows, you've seen we've been married for 5 years and we've been living in a different house. Now we're trying to buy a house together.
Jesus.
But you have a significant other that you love. And she lives in another part of New York.
Okay.
She lives in South Brooklyn.
Okay.
And you live sort of downtownish in the middle of Brooklyn.
Okay.
Okay. And when it's time for you to go spend a night at her house, and she doesn't have a console, she doesn't have a PS5, she doesn't have an Xbox. All you have to do is bring your DualSense or DualShock. All you got to do is buy a DualShock, leave it at her house, and you can play PlayStation Now through Netflix on her TV, because the TV supports Bluetooth. She has a brand new TV. Then yes, and all you had to do was link your PlayStation Plus account and your Netflix account, just like on Xbox. You connected your Xbox Live with your Games Pass, and your Games Pass with your Disney Plus account, and then you connect it with your EA account, right?
Yeah.
Same thing, same premise.
Or I could just bring a Nintendo Switch or bring a console and leave it down there since we're married. In this case, living in separate houses.
You're not.
Why would I not hook it up? Why would I not hook
married.
it up?
You're not married. You're just dating. Okay, you're just dating.
I would eventually bring a console down there and go, look, we're gonna rectify your non-gaming situation.
Okay. Well, you know what? Before eventually happens, all you gotta do is bring a DualSense controller and just leave it at our house.
So
and you can play games through her TV through your Netflix subscription.
So interesting. The scenario, you're going to a place that doesn't have connectivity. So
wait, rewind. Wait. One more scenario. Okay. You're going on vacation.
I was just gonna say that if you go to a hotel, you could just bring the controller. Okay.
You just bring the controller. Same thing.
All right. You know what? That I can get on board with you with. That I can get on board with, right? Because then potentially, given the supposed Sony partnership, right? Game saves in the cloud. I can pick up my Ghost of Tsushima save, and all I got to bring is my controller, hook it up to the TV, and then there it is. I'll give you that. We'll see how this works out at the end of the day. Again, Google has failed. Amazon has failed. Many other people have come and gone and failed in this space. I hope Netflix does it right, but I don't know what they're bringing to the table that's different besides partnering with PlayStation, if that's a thing. All right, that's the thing that's interesting. Putting games on their streaming service, we've seen it before.
How about this?
And it's always failed.
How about this? Their IP. Naughty Dog makes a Stranger Things game, like a real AAA style game.
Okay, that would also be playable on the PlayStation because Sony owns Naughty Dog.
Also be playable on the PlayStation.
Yeah, so I mean that's not a proposition. Any game should be able to be streamed.
No, but what do you mean that's not a proposition? You said, what does Netflix bring to the table? They bring their IP. You can make games off of their IP, off of their popular IP that people like Stranger Things. This is
sure.
Just one example. Example.
Sure. I mean, granted, we already have 3 Stranger Things games on the mobile phone, which are all great. You have
indie style Stranger.
Hey, look, it doesn't matter if it's AAA or indie. It's a very good game. Yeah.
It 100% matters. Now you're putting $100 million into making a Last of Us style Stranger Things game that everyone's going to go crazy over.
Yeah, I mean, they could just as easily license it out to a game company and say, "Hey, we want to make this game. We'll be the producers."
True, but they
don't need a whole streaming service to do that.
But why are they licensing when they're going to be partnering with one of the major 3?
No. Well, okay, let me go ahead and take that back. They could just produce it, right? They don't have to license. They can get a game developer and say, "Hey, we want you to build this game. Here's what we're offering." Right, and then they hand him a sack of money. They make a PS4 version. They make an Xbox version. They make a PC version.
I think your Xbox hate. I think your Xbox bias is coming into play because if this was Xbox, if this was Games Pass links to your Netflix, you'll be all over this. They're partnering with Sony. That's it.
But
what do they bring to the table? They have their IP and their user base. You're going to connect PlayStation Plus. I would say connect your PlayStation Plus and your Netflix account. You have the IP. You can make a AAA game. It's just easier that way now now it's being streamed.
If it was if it was Microsoft's Games Pass, right? They already have a ton of games on there. It's a huge value add, and the service is already up and running. It's been tested and proven. It's the gold standard for games. Now Games Pass isn't streaming. That would be the xCloud, right? Which the xCloud is now out, and you can use it. So if it was xCloud, sure, because Microsoft has built it out already. It's been tested and proven it works.
Okay. Well then,
that's a different story.
Again, we have Sony has Gaikai, right? Which was, I think it worked great. I think PlayStation Now worked great when I used it. I just I didn't have a need to use it. Just like Games Pass, I don't have. There you go.
That's what I'm saying. This is the same thing.
Me personally, don't have a need to use it. When my Game Pass subscription ends, I'm not going to be renewed. Well, when my free trial ends, I'm not going to be renewing it for the most part. So I don't have a need. I don't have a need for any of these services. But I'm saying,
it's not because the value is bad. It's because you like physical, and you're just going to wait and get them all physical.
And the value wasn't bad for PlayStation Now. I thought it was a great idea. It wasn't a value. It wasn't something that was for me because I was a collector.
I understand, but this Netflix situation is the same exact thing. You know, what value does it bring other than like, well, I can just play at somebody else's house?
From a value for me, it wouldn't be that for me per se, but I'm in a unique position, kind of. So linking my PlayStation Plus and my Netflix account together doesn't make any sense to me unless I only got to pay one price, right? So if I only got to pay one price, then perfect. But if it brings me a Stranger Things game made by Naughty Dog, then it's worth it. Then this combination is worth it to me.
Yeah, they could do that without doing the whole streaming thing, because they said they want to get into gaming.
I know, but if that's
producing games.
I know, but if that's part of it, that's the part that works for me. The other part may work for other people, but
so it's not
personally.
Okay, so it's not the streaming; it's the potential to have Sony first-party AAA studios make games based off Netflix properties.
Correct,
and that'll get behind you with. What is
how many Netflix subscriptions are there in Japan? Right, like
I don't know. There has to be millions.
You know, so compared to PlayStation Plus subscriptions in Japan, like they have to see some value. They could see value in that too, right? This is our way that we can add to our subscriber base, overseas.
I mean, maybe. Look, I'm not saying the idea is bad. I'm just saying many companies have tread this path before and have not come up, or either they're not still in business or they're in business and we don't know why they're still in business. Like Stadia. Google tried it. Google's huge. They're one of the big four tech companies, and they couldn't do it.
Amazon is still running it, and nobody cares.
Exactly. And Amazon's one of the big four. Two of the big four have tried and essentially failed in this.
Well,
in this
you know
space.
what? As soon as Amazon partners with Microsoft and Luna and Game Pass,
there you go. Then it'll
mean something. Then it'll mean something.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? There is also a big company out there. I'm surprised hasn't tried to get into this that we know of, because they probably are on the side thinking about getting into this, and that's EA, right?
Yeah.
EA, I would think, would be one of the big companies that would probably try to get into the streaming service. They have a lot of IP. They have a lot of multiplayer IPs, right? That would make sense.
They do have EA Origin, which is like their version of Games Pass, but you need to download it to your device as opposed to like streaming. So they don't have any streaming equivalent yet. But I think you're right. EA, surprised they haven't thrown their hat in the ring yet.
No, they partner with Games Pass, and now they
oh, that's true. Yeah, see, there you go.
It's true. So now you have partnered with Games Pass.
Yeah.
So, well, them and Sony are the last holdouts for sort of E3 style presentations, right? The sort of the Sony State of Play that we got last week or 2 weeks ago, that was sort of like a mini, right? They want to do. I think we're going to get a big State of Play in maybe the beginning of April. That's the new rumor right now that's going around that people.
I hope so. Somebody speculated that PSVR 2 is going to be shown in some facet there. Again, it's a rumor, but that would be awesome.
But we know EA is going to have their EA Play June 20th or June 21st. So, no, it's June 21st. So when you listen to this show, this comes out Tuesday, the 20th, all right? The next day, we're going to have EA Play. Now, they've announced that they will not have any new Star Wars games to announce until 2022. So no Jedi Fallen 2, right? No Battlefront 3.
Jedi Fallen 2? Jedi Fallen Order 2?
Fallen Order 2.
Right.
And no Battlefront 3. I know Dave would love to hear a Battlefront 3 announcement.
Oh yeah, no, you better believe it. It's the one thing I want, Dan.
They also said that we won't be hearing about the new Dragon Age game or a new Mass Effect game that they're working on. So we're not going to hear any of those things. We probably will get another Red Alert game, Red Alert Conquer, sort of mobile game. We're going to get a lot of mobile games, and we know we're going to get a lot of sports games, right? We're going to get NBA Live, the new NBA Live. That makes sense.
Yeah. We'll see all the 2022.
Madden.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get
NHL, FIFA, all that stuff, which snore. Not to say that it's bad by any means. I love the new versions. I think the graphical updates are good and all that, but what are you really going to wow people with sports games? You're not.
So the biggest rumor is we're going to get a Dead Space game.
Right? Yeah. I mean, we talked about it 2 episodes ago, There was kind of there was some leaks and rumors about it. It seems pretty strong. I think they want to bring it back. So I think that's going to be the mic drop moment.
What would you want to see EA put out, like on their EA in their EA Play? What would you want to see? I want to see a better NBA Live game. NBA Live was the gold standard in the 90s, right?
Until 2K came along, yeah.
Until 2K came along. Mm-hmm. I think NBA Live was still number one
for a little
2K
bit. Yeah.
Was early on in the Dreamcast era, and I think when those 2K I think started in 2006, 2005, maybe 2006. Mm-hmm. Since 2006, I think 2K has now taken over and been the gold standard.
Yeah, and
I want to see a really good NBA Live game.
And they haven't done live for a couple of years, right? Didn't they stop it because it just wasn't doing well?
I want to say no. I can't imagine them not actually producing an NBA Live.
I'm pretty sure. I don't think there was an NBA Live 2020 or 2021.
I mean, maybe. I stopped buying NBA Live games after 2014.
Mm-hmm. There is NBA Live 19. I think that may have been the last one.
I can't imagine them leaving money on the table, even for a bad game.
Yeah, so 2020 and 2021 never came out.
Well, 2021 didn't come out yet. It could come out.
It would have been last year if it did. It's always the.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's always the year before is the next gen. Yeah, and it's not the first time they've stopped NBA Live. I think they stopped it in 2011 because it wasn't doing that great. So they got time under their belt. Right, they got a couple of years to really kind of build it from the ground up, make a new experience.
So if that's the case, again,
it could be good.
I want a really good NBA Live.
Mm-hmm. You want that competition.
What do you want? What do you want to see from EA?
I want the one thing that EA is allergic to, and that is new IP.
Wow.
Well, it's true. They're a huge company. They're beholden to shareholders.
They could just buy a studio that's working on new IP.
They could, but will they do that? No, because it's a big risk. It's an untested property that people don't know about. There's a chance that it could be based off some sort of existing IP.
We're going to
see like a book or a movie.
Game.
Yeah, probably a new Need for Speed game. I mean, they're gonna trot out everything. You're right. Probably another mobile Command and Conquer update or whatever it is. All other sports games. Hopefully Dead Space. And if they throw a new IP in there, if they say, "Hey, we're working on this cool new thing," that'd be awesome. Because what is BioWare doing but supporting the Mass Effect trilogy right now? What are they working on behind the scenes?
Actually, I have to take umbrage with what you said.
Okay.
One of your game of the year, It Takes Two, it's the EA game. Joseph Fares and EA, they have their indie initiative sort of. That's true. That's true. It Takes Two
is Game of the Half Year nominee. It's fantastic.
So that's where they're getting their new IPs from, right?
Okay.
Unraveled 1 and 2, It Takes Two, all the Joseph Fares games.
Yeah. So. Unraveled was 4 years ago.
Unraveled 2.
Which was 3 years ago. They were a while ago. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. I mean, I want a new AAA brand new IP. I want something new out of there. Or like a franchise that's been dormant for a while, right? If Electronic Arts, because that was their name back in the day, if Electronic Arts
still their name technically.
Went and said, "Hey, we're bringing back Archon." Right? Remember that game way back when on the Commodore 64? Yeah, we're bringing that back. AAA game with 3D visuals and all the bells and whistles. I would be over the moon. Or they bring back Racing Destruction Set. Bring back some old IP. All right? But they won't do that.
Why not? You don't think they will?
I don't.
Well, you know,
I don't. Because again, the three examples you gave me, one is recent. It Takes Two is recent. I'll give you that.
Does EA own this old studio from back in the day? I think it's like
Bullfrog Studios?
No, it was like Tales of Game Studios or something like that. Tales of the Game Studios. I want a new Barkley Shut Up and Jam game.
Oh my God! Imagine, yeah.
That's what I want.
Barkley, who's been off the parquet court for the last 20 years. But man, that would be awesome.
Barkley Shut Up and Jam 3.
Oh,
the game we never got.
There you go.
I want to see. I want the third. I want the trilogy.
That would be great. So I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a solid C. I'm going to grade it ahead of time. It's going to be a C.
Oh, you already give it your low expectations. Low expectations.
The bar can't get any lower, Dan.
Okay.
I mean, Dead Space is the thing I'm excited about, and I think that'll be the mic drop moment at the end.
Well, speaking of companies, let's shift gears and let's go to another entertainment company. We talked about Netflix. Let's talk about Nickelodeon. Right? They now have. I mean, they already copied Nintendo. Right, like they got Nickelodeon Kart Racers and Kart Racers 2, which I haven't played. I do want to buy to have because I do want to try it out. Right, so they've already copied Mario Kart, and now they're copying Smash Brothers with new Nickelodeon All Stars Brawl coming out in the fall. All right, they're gonna have all the Ninja. I forgot Nickelodeon owns Ninja Turtles. So
That's right.
The Ninja
That's
Turtles.
right.
They're gonna have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all four turtles. Powdered Toast Man and SpongeBob SquarePants, just to name a few. There's a bunch of SpongeBob characters in this game.
There is, yeah. Sandy Cheeks, SpongeBob himself, Patrick Star, Powdered Toast Man from Ren and Stimpy, Reptar from Rugrats, Invader Zim. That's fantastic. Zim's going to be in there. Oblina from Real Monsters, if you remember that show. Nigel Thornberry. Michelangelo and Leonardo, surprisingly not Donatello and Raphael. Lincoln and Lucy Loud from the Loud House, I don't know them. Helga from Hey Arnold and Danny Phantom are the 14 characters.
I gotta imagine they'll add characters as they go along.
Oh my God, yes. I need to be able to play as Doug Funny. Come on.
They'll have all four turtles that have Splinter eventually, right?
You have to. And Shredder? Come on. Or
you keep it at this 14, see how it goes, and then,
put out part 2.
Brawl 2.
Yeah.
Has the bigger cast. Right? Cast characters. I want to take it a different spin. Since they like copying Nintendo, they already copied Mario Kart and now Smash Brothers. What would you like Nickelodeon? What Mario game or Mario style game or Nintendo game you would like them to copy? To have like sort of have all their characters in.
Sure, I think the obvious answer is put them in a sports game. All right, get them in a volleyball game or a tennis game.
Nickelodeon tennis,
right?
Nickelodeon golf.
There you go.
Golf, that works.
There you go. Any of those would be great, right? Get the nice colorful visuals, the cell shading, and all that, and put in some weird mechanics.
Okay, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna surprise you here. How about this? How about this? Are you ready? Nickelodeon plus Rabbids.
Oh,
Nickelodeon plus Rabbids.
You want like a tactics game? Yeah. With all the properties.
Tactics. Tactics. How about that?
I could 100% get beyond get behind that. If they take 5 minutes, put together some plot that gets all these characters together, and then have them fight in a grid.
You don't even have to do that. You don't even need a plot.
I mean, I suppose not. Nickelodeon
owns the Power Rangers too. Saban sold it to them, and I think they own it with Bandai Namco.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So they could do something like Rita Repulsa has like taken over the universe and put everybody together.
Go Power Rangers. The more you talk about it, the more I'm excited for this.
So, all right. Last news piece on the docket.
Oh boy.
We have to go retro And retro games have been selling like crazy. I think that Mario, the original Super Mario Brothers game with the original Nintendo seal, sold close to $1 million, right? I don't know if it was exactly $1 million, but it was up there. It was a lot of money. I think like 6 collectors put their money together to go buy that. But now we have a new gold standard. Okay, both sealed copy of Mario 64 sells for more than $1.5 million, and a sealed copy of Legend of Zelda cartridge sells for a record $870,000 at auction.
So yeah, I wanted to get the exact number. You were right, $660,000.
Yeah,
for the Mario Super Mario Brothers sealed. Then we get the Zelda for $870,000, and then $1.5 for Mario 64. How does Mario 64 sell more than the original Super Mario Brothers?
I gotta say nostalgia, maybe. I mean, a lot of old heads who remember the original Super Mario Brothers, probably aren't. I don't know. I think
that has to be a big factor. But if you think about the kids who
history.
Right. Well, I mean, think about the kids now who are now in their 30s who grew up with the N64. You really think they have 1.5 kicking around to buy a copy of Mario 64?
Maybe
no.
some big oil
some oil tycoon from the Middle East.
Saudi Arabia.
I want this. I mean, that has to be. It has to be.
He probably has 10 little Samsons sitting on a shelf, just looking at it in awe.
Yeah, okay. The Mario game, insane. It went for that because it was a specific run that had a specific seal that was in almost perfect condition. They gave it a 9.8 rating, I think, which is 0.2 away from a perfect cart, but it's essentially perfect. So that's why that one went for so much money. These are obviously 9.6, 9.8 carts, I believe, as well, but they're just sealed. They're probably original run. Sealed copy of these in perfect condition.
Okay. All right.
Is it worth this amount of money? I don't think so.
I'm just telling you right now. Okay. If you want Mario 64 sealed, WATA graded 9.0. Okay. Red box, it costs you $35,000 right now on eBay.
There you go. $35,000. So probably from a different run, maybe. I don't know, but yeah.
I didn't realize there were 2 different boxes of Mario 64. I didn't realize that. So there's the red box and there's the gold box.
Right.
Ah, I didn't know that. I didn't notice
that. Does one have a sticker on it that says like over 1 million copies sold or something? Is that what the gold box one is?
Player's choice.
Oh yeah. So that's like their greatest hits edition and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I need to go. I have Mario 64 in box, not complete because I don't have the cardboard that's inside. The little thing that like fits the game in. Yeah. Yeah, I do have the box. I have the manual and I have the game, but I don't have that little insert. So I don't know if I have the red box or the gold box. I have to check.
Right.
Now I'm curious. After the show, I got to go check.
Jesus. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, your copy's not worth 1.5, Dan.
I'll take half that. I'll take half. If you want it, it's yours. Half. It's yours. You can have it. It.
So I got some issues with this beyond the fact that it's way too much money. There's a reason why these carts are going for so much money, right? So WATA is the company. I mean, VGA is the other one, but I think WATA has now usurped VGA. WATA does all these big items to be graded, and then they sell them at the Heritage Auction House. They do all of the big game sales, right? So I know if you listen to the CU podcast, you'll hear Pat and Ian talk about this all the time. WATA and Heritage are in cahoots, right? Because WATA benefits because they'll go, okay, we'll go ahead and grade your game. It'll be this amount of money. We'll go ahead and grade it, whatever. And then, they call up Heritage and say, hey, we're grading this thing. It's going to be worth a lot. We'll go ahead and send it over to you so you guys can do the sale. and they get a cut. Wata gets a cut. Heritage gets a cut of the sale or whatever it is, right? So there's that. And I guess the other thing is too, with these prices going for 1.5 and all that, that includes the, I don't know, 20 or 30% that Heritage takes for doing the sale. So the game didn't necessarily sell for 1.5. It may have sold for like, I don't know, 1.2, but then whatever Heritage takes from that is also factored in, because that gets pushed onto the buyer. So that's like kind of fair to note. The other thing that's a little bit weird is that Wata is not above grading reproduction carts.
How are you grading repros? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. I mean, not even the logistics behind it. Why are you giving legitimacy to a reproduction cart, right? They're meant to be, well, hey, Little Samson is worth $1,000 or whatever. I don't want to pay that amount of money, but I do want to play it on original hardware. Somebody makes a new board, right? Flashes the ROM, puts it in a Nintendo K shell, writes repro on the outside, and sells it for like $40 or $50, right? It's materials plus a little bit extra to handle all that stuff, to get all that stuff out. And that's where it should begin and end. Wata should not be legitimizing all this stuff. There was a copy of Final Fantasy II that was a repro that went and I believe sold on eBay. There's a Hot Slots for Nintendo that was Wata graded, and I believe was also up on eBay. Insane. So this is the same company that is grading the Mario 64s and the Super Mario Brothers and the Legend of Zeldas, and then sending them over to Heritage to be sold. It's insane.
Listen,
insane.
Being in cahoots, so to speak, is probably just a good business move, because they are a business at the end of the day. All right, I would put grading repros is just like, that's unforgivable. Like why? That doesn't make any sense. The whole reason why we're grading the authenticity of this, and how, like, if, how good condition it is. So you can't grade something that's a fake. It's a fake.
Mm-hmm.
You're
grading the authenticity of an inauthentic cart.
You grade. Do you grade or have in high value cubic zirconial? I mean,
no. Nobody cares about a fake diamond. No.
How does that work?
I don't know.
No, I just think I need to dig in my crates to see if I have any sealed N64 games. I get it graded.
Well, that's the other thing too, right? Like, I know you're joking about that, right? Because
yes, I don't really. But if you're just listening, you never heard us before. I don't really care about that. I'm probably never going to have any game graded, because I have no desire to sell my collection. This is
well, that
if you get
too.
It graded,
Yeah.
It's sealed in the plastic, and
right.
You can't play it.
Right.
I want to be able to play any game, not emulate it on my Steam Pro.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to actually play it.
Well, not even that. I was going to say, like people think after seeing articles like this that their collection that's in their attic is worth something, right? Because people don't know that there's a reason why the Mario Kart. Yeah,
I know, but it probably is. They probably have a Nintendo World Championships just sitting in the attic.
No, they don't. Tell
that we get one like every 2 years, every 2-3 years is like a Nintendo World Championship in someone's attic, and they take
one.
It to get sold.
We get one. Because everybody thinks, my Atari is worth a couple $100. No, it's not.
Yes.
My copy of Super Mario Brothers that has a peeled label from way back in the day is worth a bunch of money. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not.
That's my uncle.
Right. See? There you go. Everyone starts thinking. Yeah.
He thinks his Atari is worth a couple of $100, and I said no.
Because Yahoo will put up an article or like MSN or Bloomberg or whatever. Hey, do you have these old games in your collection? They could be worth such and such amount of money. And it's like, no. It's got to be a specific version in perfect condition. And even then, it may not be worth that much. So
I just can't wait. I can't wait to hear what's the next game to be sold, right, for $1 million, because we got to beat this, right?
What's gonna break the mold? Yeah. Do you think it's gonna be a non-Nintendo game that would do it? Because so far it's been 2 Mario games and a Zelda game. Those are the ones that have broken the mold.
So we're now at the end this N64 era, right? So maybe we go. I say what's next? GameCube, right? GameCube games are rising in price. A sealed Mario
true.
Sunshine got to sell for $2 million, right?
Oh,
like
my
sealed.
God. I mean, maybe.
So I don't think it will be a non-Nintendo game. I think these games are expensive and going up in price because they're Nintendo games.
Yeah. That definitely holds a lot of weight.
Because we have such nostalgia for that. I just can't wait 10 years from now when it's like a sealed copy of Halo.
Oh, the OG Halo for Halo 1. You're joking about it, but it could be.
It'll be the first non-Nintendo game to hit the $1 million mark.
Yeah, right. All right.
So, all right. Dave, that's it for the news. That's it. Not a lot. It wasn't. Hopefully next week it'll be, somewhat more substantial, more newsy.
Listen, you're hating on the Steam Deck, man. You're hating on that. I'm sorry, Steam Pro. That Steam Pro.
Yeah, I have no interest in it.
I see that.
What are your weekend plans, man?
I'm gonna beat Doom Eternal. I'm gonna rip the head off that Icon of Sin, Dan, and I'm gonna watch those credits roll.
Okay,
that's what I'm gonna do. What about you? What are you gonna do this weekend?
I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna jump into Final Fantasy VII Integrate.
Nice.
I definitely
love to see it.
I definitely want to get into that. I want to play more of Zelda. Right. I want to play more Zelda. So I think I haven't really been playing games. I've been playing Mario Run for like the past week. So I think now that sort of like I'm home, I'm calm. I don't have to go back to work in the city for indefinitely. I think I'm just gonna knock out that Yuffie DLC.
Yeah, nice. Let me know how it is, because I can't play it because it's PS5 exclusive, right?
No, it's on PS4 too.
It is. May have to pick up a copy and play it, because I love the first part. First part was very good. So all right, that's episode 280 in the books, folks. 280 episodes. I mean, that's just amazing. We're coming up on 300 right now, and I gotta say, we couldn't do it without the fans, right? They're what kind of makes this whole machine run. So we want to thank you guys for listening to the show, liking, commenting, doing all the good stuff that you guys do. If you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. And also, we are part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance. You can check out all of the fine podcasts featured on there at gamingpodcastalliance.com if you're looking for more gaming goodness. So, please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.